I want to believe discipline is part of training. We have to train it up at a certain time. And I want to probably mention that's sometimes we get it wrong. We might bring in discipline a bit too late in a child's life. And so they don't understand why you tell them, because this young age, they will not wait till evening. They got away with it. They got away with it at that time. So when you come back in the evening to tell them, you remember what you did during the day, you know, it will not even make sense in their mind. It's already way past. There is a line, there's a boundary that I can be your friend, but hey, I'm your parent, but I'm your friend.
Hello guys, welcome to my journey of grace. I'm your host Julia Wamboi, and thank you so much for watching, for subscribing, for sharing, and may God bless you. May God bless you. I really appreciate everything you're doing, and may God really bless you. And today I have such amazing, beautiful woman of God. And before I introduce her, I want to talk about KAG East University. They have such amazing courses. And people have been asking if they only have for pastors. I tell them no, they have early childhood, they have counseling and psychology, they have amazing courses, education, Bachelor of Arts. You guys, you should enroll. And by the way, we also have just short courses for Form 4 leavers. So if you're there, you're Form 4 leavers, come and sign for any short courses. And thank you so much. So Eva, karibu sana. Thank you so much for availing yourself. I know you're busy. So tell us, who is Eva? Karibu sana.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here. My name is Eva Washira. Eva is a woman of God. I love God with all my heart. She is a mother to teenagers and older. Recently, yes. I'm a worshiper as well. And I'm also a counseling psychologist. Yes.
So today we're talking about parenting. I think it has been so difficult nowadays because as we see children, I don't know where we are failing, you'll tell us, because we see so many things happening in parenting, and I don't know whether it's us. You see, the Bible has its own version, and I think we also have our own version. So I really wanted you to talk just briefly about parenting. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. Maybe we begin by defining parenting. And there's no one definition for parenting, but what I would go with is parenting is a process where we support a child physically, emotionally, socially, cognitively. We also support them educationally to grow into adults who will make a difference in the society in all these areas. So I believe parenting is a God-given responsibility. We can take it up for our own biological children or for children who God has given us through adoption, whatever different ways God brings a child into your life. Parenting is a responsibility that's given to humanity. Yes.
The Bible talks so much also about discipline, and there are a few verses, and I think I'll also maybe read Proverbs 29, because nowadays, like when you discipline, so many children are getting like stressed up, they're getting depression. So Proverbs 29:17, discipline your children and they will give you peace, they will bring you delights you desire. So like nowadays when we try to discipline our children, they're not taking it well. And before, during our time, it was totally so different. You couldn't even talk back to your parents. You couldn't even do, like you're told, and you're just there keeping quiet. But nowadays, when you try to tell them and you try to discipline them, many of them are going through depression. Most of them, they think of hate and everything. So I'm really wondering what is happening. Yeah. Is it us that we are not parenting well, or I don't know what's changing?
Actually, that's a good question, because I want to believe parenting is evolving with the times, which means we cannot parent the way the way our parents parented. We have to parent, I believe, with God-given wisdom. So He gives us wisdom to parent for these times. I'm reminded when we talk about training up a child, when they're young, right, in godly ways. So I want to believe discipline is part of training. We have to train it up at a certain time. And I want to probably mention that's sometimes we get it wrong. We might bring in discipline a bit too late in a child's life. And so they don't understand, why are you telling me this now? Yeah, I wasn't a problem child, for example, when I was younger. Why now when I'm a teenager? So I think in terms of timing, discipline should actually be taught way before they start misbehaving. We should actually see forward as parents. We should see for them, and we should know this is what they'll encounter in their teenage years. And then we train them much earlier on, if you are to do this, these are the consequences. And so when you're disciplining them, they won't have anywhere to say, unanionea. It's what you are told some time back. So I do believe the part for training, maybe we do not do it so well as parents, because we do not even think about it, right? Like, how can you train on discipline? You can actually train on discipline. They do not have to misbehave so that they learn about discipline. Teach them about discipline before the misbehavior. And that way, you will be pointing to let me call it a manual, that you did this is what we agreed, there are consequences, so they can have the consequences. And that way, they won't have a space to rebel, get so angry, get depressed because of discipline. So they need to have the mind of discipline is almost like a lifestyle. You have to be disciplined as a lifestyle.
How do we discipline? When you talk about discipline, as Africans, like especially as mothers, the only thing we think about discipline is kiboko. Or anyway, yeah, you people, yeah. So I think when you talk more about discipline, so you can tell us about discipline, because countries like, abroad, their discipline is so different than our culture. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting, because even for us, like, corporal punishment is illegal, right? Yeah. So we grew up when it was allowed, and I think somewhere down the line it was pulled out. So true, kiboko was removed out of the schools, and so we don't have that right now. What I want to believe when it comes to discipline, and this is my own belief, it's not a one size fits all. It's not a one size fits all. There are very good people who will tell you they were hardly disciplined because they were not in discipline. They were never beaten, but they turned out okay. Now, there are others who even say, thank you, Dad, thank you, Mom, for beating me, because if you didn't beat me, I would have been something else.
Actually, I was beaten, and I think it helped me. Yeah.
Right? So it's not a one size fits all. And so I want to believe that every parent from a very young age should try to understand how their child listens to them and responds to what they're saying, and what it is from a very young age that works for them in terms of saying no, or this is wrong, or I'll give you some 3 strokes because you did 1, 2, 3. You can actually begin to see very early how they're taking on discipline. Yes, and you'll try different ways of disciplining them. In the West, probably they use methods like timeout and all that. And sometimes when you tell the African parents to use timeout, they'll tell you, how timeout? Just sit there, you know? Yes. I've also had experiences where a parent will tell you timeout doesn't work. The child will just tell them, tunakaa tu hapo, you know, we'll just wait. So it doesn't work. But you have to figure out what is it that we can pick from the West that works very well with also the African culture. Even more because we are here in Africa. Why don't we find out things that have actually discipline measures that have worked out for our very own? We do not have to pick from outside. I somehow feel like some of these things were not passed down from our parents, maybe grandparents, very well. And so every parent is for himself right now. And so we are all trying different methods. We are not talking as parents to hear out, okay, this worked for me, so maybe try it for your child if you have this issue. We are not also meeting as parents and sharing knowledge so that we understand, in that home, the kiboko did not work, but maybe removing the TV for 2 weeks worked. You know, so discipline is not a one size fits all, but I can tell you in every parent, there is some knowledge about discipline that can be shared and can go around that will work. Yeah, so every child, take them as the unique people they are, see what discipline works for them, and now implement that. This also goes for the families. All children may not handle the very same kind of discipline very well.
So they should all be treated differently.
Try to treat them differently, but probably with a very fair measure. Get to know that one child will not say, you actually treat my sibling better, you know? Yeah, let them know. Sometimes it's even better to ask a child, how do you want me to discipline you? I have to discipline you. Yes, tell me. It's okay to ask them. Yes, and you can say as a parent, no, that's not tough enough. Yeah, choose something else. Yeah, no Wi-Fi for a whole month in the house. All right, I'm not paying for Wi-Fi that month. You know? Yeah. So godly wisdom allows us to have a balance and to balance it with every child.
Also okay to ask God to give you wisdom on how to handle the children. Yeah, so like ages from 0 to 5, how can you discipline like 0 to 5 or even 0 to 10 years?
Actually, that's a good question.
Like, have you ever gone to a supermarket, you see a young, like, they want chocolate and they're rolling all over, they're shouting, they're doing all these things, and you're like, God. And you know, the mom is just there, and people are even judging her. And that's why I'm asking, like, how, like, the discipline.
Again, allow me to say it's not also a one size fits all, like 0 to 5, because there are children who do not throw tantrums. Yes, there are parents who say they never experienced tantrums, and then there are some also parents who say tantrums, they really scare them, you know. However, what I can say about probably that age is children at that age are usually very, for lack of a better word, allow me to use selfish. It's mine. They just want what is there. So that chocolate in the supermarket is mine, that lollipop is mine. And so there are behaviors that need to be taught to children before you visit the supermarket. Early before. Set some rules. Set some rules and set some consequences. If I see a tantrum, we are out of there and we won't go back to the supermarket again with you.
And you mean what you're saying.
And you mean what you're saying. You have to keep your word. Actually, recently I saw a parent discipline their child at the supermarket. Yes, and I had to get my daughter and tell them, see, they're being disciplined at the supermarket. Actually, the parent is doing what is right. Yes,
Really?
yes, in a corner there. Yes, they took them to a corner and they made sure they disciplined them. And I honestly applaud that parent. They weren't overly aggressive, but they took the point home. And it was very clear after that.
Did the child listen?
The child listened. It was different after. It was different after. Children of that age, and maybe even probably slightly older, 7, 8 years old, get to know that you cannot discipline them where there are people. Somehow you're ashamed or embarrassed to do it. So I'd encourage the parents, allow yourselves to put that not as an embarrassment, but it's something you're using to build your child. So tomorrow in the future, they do not embarrass you. So it's very important to actually discipline your child, even whether you visited people or you're in the supermarket. It's okay. Pull them aside, remind them what you said, and this is why you're doing this, and you discipline them. Sometimes it's dangerous to leave discipline for the evening or once you're out of that space, because this young age, they will not wait till evening. They got away with it. They got away with it at that time. So when you come back in the evening to tell them, you remember what you did during the day, it will not even make sense in their mind. It's already way past that. So I always try my best, even when you're dealing with teenagers, to try make sure something doesn't wait.
Let me ask you, for parenting for the youth and the teenagers, you say that, like in public places, and there are others who have like, why are you doing this? There are people. How do you discipline them? Maybe you are maybe in a party or something, and you really know they're doing something so wrong. How do you even deal with that at that time?
I'll speak from my experience, right? I can speak from my experience. And teenagers, yes. Yes, I do. Yes. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. What I would say about that age, you stop using the kiboko way early, or the mwiko, whatever it is that you are using, and you change your mode of discipline to maybe something different. That's way early. I think by the time they were getting to about 10, 11, 12, even as a parent, you recognize that at this age where they're going into the space of identity and all that, you also need to take care of their dignity and their person. And so you don't use the kiboko and all that. So personally, what I have seen work is putting rules prior to whatever event it is that they're going. Yes, so if they're going for a party, what are the rules around the party? What time should they be back? So that they don't face any disciplinary measures. And if they break the rules, what is supposed to be done? It's very key for you to actually define the rules that you're working with. And I think most of us, we fail to do that. There has to be a way you have to tell them that these are the rules you're working with. And if possible, at the age of teenage and the young adults, set the rules with them. You're the parents, yes, but set the rules with them, because it will not be a good thing if they break their own rules. So they will carry their own rules in their minds. But I actually committed to this. I even suggested to my parents that yes, so they'll be obligated to keep their own word. So involve them, even young kids, involve them in creating some rules in the consequences. And when they're going through the disciplinary action, remind them, this was what you told me. Yeah. So now no parties for another 2 months because of 1, 2, 3. You know, we set the rules together. So I think there's a very important place for actually setting rules when it comes to discipline. It should be sit down with your child and set the rules. Age-appropriate rules and age-appropriate consequences. Yes, I believe those can work.
There's a parent I had saying that you're not supposed to be friends with your children. You're supposed to be a parent. Like you're supposed to be a parent. Is that true or not true? Like you're not supposed to be friends. You're supposed to be, the parent. Yeah.
You can be a parent and a friend, but you can't be a friend and not a parent.
Please say it again.
Yeah, you can be a parent and a friend at the same time, but you can't be a friend and fail to be a parent. Yeah, so I do believe the friendship part is so important. And this is because I have seen teenagers feel so good when their parent is their friend. Because who is a friend? Someone you can confide in. Someone you can share everything. You know, so wouldn't you want to be that as a parent? Yes, but a parent, but a friend cannot necessarily be a parent. They can be a friend.
They say when you become friends with them, the discipline become lesser. So I don't know whether it really makes sense.
Okay, I choose to look at it maybe in a different way, because you can regulate your friendship with them. You can put a reminder. Make sure you're reminding them you are the parent. You are the authority here. The fact that yes, take time to even make sure that it sinks in their minds that, hey, I'm your friend, but remember, I'm also the parent here. I'm the authority here. And when you keep reminding them, they will actually link the two together. Oh, my mom is still my friend, but still the authority. She's still the one that says. That's a very good question. I've found I've been in a place where I conflict with my children because of that. You know, where do you draw the line, you know, of being a friend and of being a parent? So children or teenagers need to know that there is a line, there's a boundary, that I can be your friend, but hey, I'm your parent, but I'm your friend. If you need someone to talk to, I'm here, but hey, I'm your parent. Keep reminding them.
So when, like the youth and the teenagers, most of them, they can also take advantage when parenting. Maybe you have cases like they go ask their dad permission to go out and the dad says yes. So, and you will just say no. So they ask the dad who will say yes. So when maybe they go and you don't know and you ask them, you tell them, but dad said yes. So what happens to that? Like when parents are not in the same, is it not space, in the same line? Should I say line or what? Yeah. Because now this one is saying this one is saying this, or the mom says you're not going, the dad says you go. Yes. Do you think that children, because of that, they, especially the young adults and the teenagers, do you think they really take advantage because of that?
They do. I want to believe if the parents are aware of how much damage that does, they will actually come back to a point of telling themselves that we need to discuss, because over here, if we don't work together, we are still the ones who will lose. We will lose our children. And so children are very smart. They will try to read us, yes, from a very young age. They are very smart. But parents are smarter. Don't get me wrong, children. Teenagers, don't get me wrong.
They're listening.
We are smarter by God's grace. We are smarter. And it's important that parents realize that not working together, it's to the detriment of the child. And whose child is that? It's your child. So at the end, you're the one who will end up crying. So why don't you work together so you are on the same page? And on that, I usually say, discuss as a couple how rules are supposed to be set or how discussions are supposed to go. And so just agree in your own space. When so-and-so comes to you, let's call them Ted, their son. When Ted goes to dad and asks dad something for permission, let dad give his opinion, but also ask, have you talked to mom? What has she said? You know, and make sure Ted then goes to mom and comes back with a report. I've asked mom and she refused. So you have a discussion with if dad said yes and mom said no. At the back there, you can have a discussion as a couple. Why the no? Why the difference? And let's go with. A lot of times I say the authority. In a godly way, at the end of the day, we respect the fathers. We respect the fathers and their authority. And so I want to believe it is good at the end of the day to actually honor the place of the father. It's a reason enough. It is okay. We go down and we take what the father says. Yes.
Let me ask you, so do you do like the family therapy, or what kind of therapy do you do? And can people come to you? Do you have a number that people can call?
Yes.
And if you're invited to maybe like other churches where we see nowadays they have counselors who come in and they talk, and especially even to the parents about parenting. Can you also go, like, are you available to go, or yeah? And also charges, nowadays people we have to say.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for that, for the question. Yes, I do therapy for individuals, for couples, for family, and let me also say for young children. Yes, also for young children. It is a gifting, I must say. And so when I talk about individual counseling, it's from the children to the adolescents to the young adults and to adults. Yes. And so therapy for me is my passion. And if you would want to reach me, right, I can give you my number. I want to believe it can even be put on the screen, and that's 0780-897-621. Maybe I can say it again, 0780-897-621. You can reach me on that line, and we can set up a counseling session. One of the things I would want to say is that I'm also affiliated to ICC Buruburu as one of their counselors, and so I do therapy also for the church. Yes. Yes. So we have to take care of the flock in every way. We have to feed them. We have to also make sure their mental health is proper, and by God's grace. Yeah, I always say Jesus Christ is a wonderful counselor, so he's my boss first. Yes, he's a wonderful counselor, and then I come in as a counselor under his guidance. Yes.
Thank you so much, Eva, and thank you so much for the knowledge of parenting. We are mothers and learning. We are always there to learn. Yeah. So if someone calls you, you can go, especially even for group counseling.
Yes.
And especially for the teenagers.
Counseling as well. Yes, I do group counseling. I advocate for it. I think it's one of the best counselings that you can do.
Conference, you can always get in touch.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching. This is my journey of grace. We love you and Jesus loves you more.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.